Hi, everybody. This is Amy Cochran. There was a retreat that the school board had last night, 7/18/2022. A retreat is where they go over, they digest, they talk about, they share information that's coming down. That's going to be, it's going to be an issue as we move forward, a good issue, bad issue, but an issue. And for some prior results, some test scores, and just trying to take in all the information that's happening. So the goals, they were talking about the goals, and one of the goals is that we'd have 80% of the K through 10 students performing at 40 percentile in math and reading on the MAP test. And the math, we did it. The reading, we were close. Another goal was that we'd have 60% of the students reaching the 60th percentile on the MAP test. And we met that with math and almost with reading, not too far back. They did talk about stretching the goal a little bit for math, since we did meet those goals. Second goal that they had was to look at more staff. And the way that they determined this was by test scores and ad hoc committees, trying to see where the support was needed. So this is what they have decided, that they need a lead administrator at Deerfield North and South. That's because that principal for the elementary school, there's one of them, and she is traveling to all three schools, and it's hard to be an administrator and be in your car at the same time. So she's going to get a little help at all three schools to help with some of that administrative stuff. We're doing an 8th section of K1 and 2. 4th elementary school teacher. We're getting a reading specialist and an additional special education teacher at Ott. We're going to hire another HALAC coordinator. We have math, language art, and special education teacher that we're hiring at the high school. And then we have the psychologist slash counselor at K2. He said that this is a stretch goal. This is one that we're have taken pretty far, and so we're trying to stretch it out and trying to reach it. But it's one of those, kind of like that stretch job. You want that job, but if you don't get it, it's not horrible. You still did your best. We want the juniors to average a 21 composite on the ACT, increase the college rate from 60 to 65%. And he said any college, 2-year college, 4-year college. I think he meant trade school or whatever, any kind of a beyond secondary education. And increase the number of students taking college dual course credit from 386 to 450. They gave us a list of all the dual course credit courses that Blair has, and we have a lot of courses the students can take. So we need to be taking advantage of that, especially since the cost is free because of that legislative act that our legislature put through. It's free for 3 years, I think, is what they said. Okay, here's the results of the MAP test. So in the math, looks pretty good, pretty high. It looks like the lowest one is 5th grade, but it's still above that 40th percentile, which is good. And then we have the reading, and the reading, just like I showed on the first slide, is not quite as high. And then that 6th grade reading, we're having a little bit of problems. We need to bring that up. So we'll be looking at the 7th graders next year. The ACT, this is the ACT score for the last 4 years. I don't know how in the world we went up in our ACT score last year, but we did. We went up in score on our ACT to score test. We went down just a little bit last year. So they're wanting to bring that up to where the composite's going to be 21 like it was last year. All right, so we have they talked about growth a lot. So, and they were talking about space. And so trying to forecast a little bit on, so we can make sure that we don't exceed our building space. We have time to plan. And so they want to plan this out so we do it right. And so the kids don't suffer. If we have our typical 2% enrollment growth, we'll need a bond to have a new building in place by 32 and 37 for additional K5, 6, 8, and 9, 12 spaces. With all the business growth around Blair, the Dollar General distribution going in, the Nova Zion expansion, and other expansions over there on the Cargill campus, they're concerned about the growth. They're concerned that it may not stay at 2%. So if it grows to 5%, we're going to need space real soon because we're going to max out our space in 27 and 28. So there's just kind of keeping a close eye on it and seeing what our expansion looks like to keep the kids in a school that they're not overcrowded and they're being served like they need to be served. Here's some improvements at these buildings at some of the schools. The bold is requires a bond. They said, I thought he was saying that it's already in that last bond that we did. I believe that's what he was saying, is that it was in that last $20 million bond or whatever it was that we voted on. So there's lots of things that's going on, lots of repairs that need to be done. And I'll let you read that. You can stop the video and read it. Here's one for our current needs. You notice there's not anywhere near as much bolded. So these are some current needs that have popped up since the bond. So I'll let you read that. You can pause the tape and read those. Lastly, I want to leave you with this. They were talking about if the enrollment exceeds building capacity, here are some things we could do, and here's the cost. They even talked about possibly building a new high school, which that's millions of dollars, and but then they could use the old high school. I'll let you read that, and that was the meeting last night. I hope you enjoyed the information. Thank you.